Today we have special guest speaker Sonia Cannon, attorney at law, a family law attorney, and her office is located in Birmingham, Michigan. And she's here to talk about what a family should do if CPS come knocking at the door. Basically, just knowing your rights, because you never know what may happen, and some people get really apprehensive and don't know what to do, and she's here to allow us to know what to do. Hello, Sonia. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today, Debbie?
I'm doing good.
Good. Thank you for having me. And Debbie, I know that you're doing this often, and I hope that you'll have me back, especially because I was a little late because I was in court.
And I was late myself in technicalities with the equipment. So I want to apologize to you and the audience.
No, well, listen, hopefully they'll forgive us, and maybe we'll tell them some stuff, and they'll want to hear back from us sooner than later.
Of course. Yes, that's true. So could you talk to me and let the audience know what is the proper procedure if, CPS come knocking at the door?
Sure. Debbie, first of all, I just want to take just like a few seconds out to acknowledge you. A lot of people, they encounter CPS, they encounter problems with the court, they go through a lot of hardship, but they don't use their life, they don't use their time to help others. And I want to acknowledge you for the fact that you're constantly trying to bring education and information to families. And I really want to say to you, thank you for doing that. And please don't stop doing that, Debbie.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And so as far as CPS is concerned, if they come out to your house, here's the thing, Debbie. Just because they're out at your house doesn't mean that your kids are going to get removed or taken away. Now, here's the thing. Most of the time, you and I, because of the work that we do in our lives, we do meet the people whose kids get taken away, right? But a lot of times when CPS comes out and they're investigating, there really isn't going to be a basis, how do I put that, Debbie, for them to do anything to you. Okay. And so what I see often happen is people get real scared. And because they get real scared, they just automatically get defensive and maybe a little mean. Now, my suggestion is that if a CPS worker comes out to your home, the first thing you're entitled to know is what is the referral. But I'm going to tell you right now, they don't always do that right away, okay? So they approach you on your driveway, they approach you on your porch, they call you on the phone, and they ask you to do something or give them something. The first thing out of your mouth as a parent, a mother, a father, a guardian, or a grandparent should be, what is the referral? What is the allegation that you have received against me, right? And why is that, Debbie? Because here's what happens. You don't know what they're there for, and they just start asking you to do stuff, right? And then they start asking you for information, right? Don't you think, Debbie, don't you think it's important first and offhand if someone from the state comes out to your house, you want to know why they're there, right?
Of course. That's true.
Once you find out why they are there, Debbie, then you know, is it high radar or low radar? Okay. High radar stuff, Debbie, is there's an accusation you sexually abuse your children. High radar stuff is there's an accusation that you're physically abusing your children. High radar stuff is, you're starving your children. High radar stuff is we had your child in an emergency room and they had an injury. And that injury now we're investigating because we don't think the explanation you gave was good enough. Those are high radar things, okay? And I will be, a typical lawyer and say to you, I think if you get those kind of high radar notices that this is what we're investigating, myself, I would speak to an attorney before I speak to the caseworker. Okay? But that's just me.
Right.
Let's talk about more low radar stuff, Debbie. Let's talk about, And you have two people that are divorced, and this happens all the time, and they complain on one another because they're mad at each other and they're not getting their way in custody court, right? That's low radar. What else, Debbie? Can you think of other low radar stuff?
Well, I know that people can get calls. I mean, Child Protective Services can get calls from the public that someone don't have beds in the house or no food in the refrigerator. That's low radar.
And Debbie, let's stop and pause on that.
Okay.
To me and you, right? I think this is what we really need to do, you and I. We need to keep helping everybody that we can help. And I guess it's kind of somewhat insensitive of me to say that's a low radar issue. It is a big
It's a big deal, but it's not like if the kids had their bones broken, they had webs all on their body. If the kids didn't have beds in the house, then they have a service called preventative services that
they can't come in and swoop the kids out right away. Okay. In those scenarios, like you said, if they don't have enough, even if they don't have enough food, even if you don't have beds in the home, a report of dirty children, a report that your kids aren't going to school, those are not high radar things. And I think what I would say is, though, you still need to be careful what you communicate, right?
Right.
Look, most of the caseworkers, Debbie, I was a caseworker, okay? And most of the caseworkers, I'm not going to say all, okay? You'll find are young people just graduating college, first job, okay? And really a lot of them go into it because they want to help, okay? The problem is, I think, Debbie, sometimes what help is not really help, but other people wanting you to be a certain way that you're not. Okay. And that's the issue. So if you need the help of a caseworker on a low radar issue, I don't have enough money right now for beds, or I could use a referral to a food pantry, right? You know, I think it's important to let the caseworker know, I'm having these problems. Yes, I am. But let me tell you how everything else, I have it together. Here's my children's doctors. Here's, my history of employment, or here's my history of living here. I think it's really important, if you're getting a call on a low radar issue, it's not something you would really need to call a lawyer about, right? But I don't think it's a good idea to treat the situation like the worker is not your buddy, right? Right, Debbie? They're not your friend. They've got a job to do, right? So, you know what? Keep it professional. Keep it professional, right? So that's kind of how I view the first, Debbie, now we're talking about that first kind of raw contact, right? When they call you or they stop by your house, and you know how that goes there. Not that you know how that goes, but they catch the people off guard. They're not expecting
I do know how it goes.
Yes. No, if you know I don't know, because you have that. You do a great job, Debbie. So do you have any questions about what I just explained? Because I really was trying to describe to people how this looks. What happens is they'll catch you by surprise, especially if you've never had a referral before. Okay. And you'll be like, your mouth will be wide open, because you're going to be like, I have what?
Right.
And they can't tell you where the
especially your mouth is wide open when you didn't do anything. Now, if you did something, that's something different.
Well, that is something different. Yes. Oh, your wide is not just wide open, it's dropped down to the ground. Your mouth is dropped down to the ground when you know that you haven't done anything. And it happens. And I make a living because it happens, Debbie. And it's so, and Debbie, believe me, I'd rather do divorce any day. It is very stressful to watch my clients have their children taken away from them. And what they have to go through, Debbie, to get them back. So that's my rendition of where you need to do. First, they come out. First thing out of your mouth, respectfully. You don't need to be nasty about it. Respectfully.
That's
I
true.
need to know what the allegations are. Okay? If you want to record it, you want to record the interaction with the caseworker, don't be immature about how you record it. Okay? Pull it out and say, show it to the worker and say, ma'am, I am not being disrespectful of you, or sir, I'm not being disrespectful of you. I'm scared right now. You're coming here to me about my children. This is a very important meeting. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. I want to make sure that I understand everything you're telling me, because this could be one of the most important meetings of my entire life. Right?
I hear you. I have a little something to say about some of the stuff you're saying.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Okay.
You know, once I get talking, I don't stop.
No, I just want to say it was something that you had said that even if it's low radar, they will not take the children. Well, my experience in talking to other people, some workers will. My experience in talking to other people, you can let them know that you're going to record, and you can be professional and respectful about it, and they'll tell you, I don't want to be recorded. And you let them know, well, I'm doing this for accurate information to make sure that what I'm saying to you, that everything is accurate. I know this personally. I've done it, and so they will be. My experience, they get very offended. They get really mad, and a lot of times you will not get your children or grandchildren, and that's something I have dealt with myself, and that's the reason, part of it.
Right. I think you're right, Debbie, and I think,
not all workers, not all. I'm not, because I don't know. I'm just talking about my experience. I can't vouch for everyone, and that all the workers are the same. I can't say that. And I just want to say this, that I respect the profession, that we know that children, they do get abused and neglected. And there are good social workers that try to do their best and want to do their best. But then if you got a supervisor or another worker or somebody else come along and telling you, or this is your job, you have to do this is the way we want to do it, and they have all the good intentions in doing the right things, and some of them do the right things and don't take children out the house and help parents along. I know that's happening out there, but then you have the other social workers that I hate to say it, but it's the truth, are corrupt. And it's about the Title IV money. It's about the budget. It's about that. It's about money coming in. And so if they can find somebody they can run over, they'll do it.
I think, if I can just speak on that for a minute, I really believe that Title IV and the way Title IV is dispersed needs to be revamped. The incentive that I would like to see is an incentive to reunify biological families and to credit or give money, Title IV money, based on the success of reunification of families. So, rather than the removal, right, and adoption type situations. And I'm going to tell you something, Debbie. I bet you most CPS workers wish that they had more funding for services on the front end of cases. And by the way, Debbie, that I know that there are awful situations. So, I never want to deal with you, Debbie, in our little efforts to educate the public and sound like I'm in this la-la land, right? I'm not. I totally get that there are these situations where people, I'll give you an example of what I think is an attribute, a character that doesn't do well with CPS. And I don't care if you're red, green, black, white, okay? I call it the mama bear syndrome, Debbie, okay? You know what a mama bear is, right? Okay, Mama Bear, I don't have children, Debbie, but I got, my little puppies, and I'm a Mama Bear for them. If you even come near them with some mess, I am going to turn into a bear with claws. You try to risk my relationship with them, I'm going to turn into a bear with claws. And that's really how most mothers are, right? And some fathers as well. I don't mean to keep them out of it, right?
Right.
And so what happens is a lot of times the workers, they are talking to the mama bear, and the mama bear gets grrr, starts kind of being, I'm going to attack because you're coming after my cubs, right? And I'm going to tell you what time it is, and you're not going to tell me this, and I'm going to, and even sometimes trying to act smarter, right, than the investigator. Mm-hmm. It can put you in a bad spot, right? Mm-hmm. And so some of the reasons why, like, I tell my clients, some people will call me and they'll be like, well, do I need you as a lawyer? And I'm like, well, here's the thing, probably not. But at the end of the day, when you do have an attorney, the attorney can say things to the caseworker you really just can't, right, in your own case, about the situation. So I think, like, that's like an example of a personality trait that, those situations where someone gets heightened up and most of the times, Debbie, the person, the mama bear, is right what she's saying, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's the situation in which, a lot of people get dinged for because they're sticking up. They're being a mama bear for their cubs.
Right.
So.
Well, we only have 1 minute now, Sonia. And is there anything in this 1 minute that you want to talk to our audience about?
Well, Debbie, I mean, I'm really, my heart goes out really right now. I've been doing a lot for grandparents, mm-hmm. and I would really like to devote a session, me and you, mm-hmm. to grandparents. I'm really struggling myself. I feel like there's a lot of grandparents taking care of their grandchildren because of the opioid epidemic. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of help out there for you. Sometimes you guys encounter more difficulty relatives, grandparents trying to get the kids out of foster care than anyone else. And I think, we do need to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Hope that you'll invite me back to discuss that, Debbie.
We will come back next month at the same time. Well, I hope you're available at this same time.
Yeah, I actually, Debbie, just so you know, mistakenly mm-hmm. put this on for every Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you.
No, it's not bad. It's
okay.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And we invite the people listening to let other people know about this. If they want to email you questions, let them email you questions. I can't get any questions mm-hmm. personally, but let them email you. Mm-hmm. And, we'll go from there.
And we'll do an hour next time. Audience, I am so sorry. We were supposed to have an hour session, but we didn't get into it until like 4:40, 4:48. So next time it will be longer and people can call in, and definitely email me, and I'll give my email, and that is dwilliams2959@yahoo.com.
Okay, and Debbie, thank you for having me.
See you all next month. Same
Bye.
time. Bye. Thank you.